Today, Wednesday the 14th of May, 2025. Today, EON Rant is brought to you by. Keep saying my favorite league. I mean, I'm talking about them every day, so I have to say they're doing pretty well, and they'll never, even when they go bad as far as ratings, they'll never die out, and they'll always be rich because we're always going to talk about them some way somehow. The Indiana Pacers are going to the Eastern Conference Finals for the second straight year, and people more or less are talking about Jokic's game last night, which was amazing, and the loss to the Oklahoma City Thunder being Oklahoma City Thunder are one game away from the conference finals for I believe the first time since they lost to the Warriors, being up 3-1 with Kevin Durant on their team, if I'm not mistaken. As far as the Indiana Pacers, I'm going to say this: they're the best and most consistent organization in basketball since the 1990s. The reason why I say that is because they didn't have a superstar fall in their freaking lap left and right, and like, oh, some beautiful guy miraculously came from the sky like the Milwaukee Bucks, or they got the first pick and they picked LeBron James like Cleveland, or the big free agent signing says go to Miami because it's Miami. I know Pat Riley did something to do that with Dwayne Wade drafting him, but somehow, some way, somehow, LeBron James shows up free agent because it's Miami, and then you have and Jimmy Butler, and then you have the Lakers. Everything just falls to the Lakers all the time, anyways. I mean, Kobe came there out of left field. Shaq shows up. LeBron James shows up because it's L.A. If you were which you were the Minneapolis Lakers, if you were the freaking Detroit Lakers, nobody's showing up. Obviously, that's part of the game. If ands or buts, who cares? It's just what happens. Nobody cares. Coulda, shoulda, woulda. At the end of the day, the Indiana Pacers are one of those teams where nobody wants to play in Indiana. It's freezing cold in the winter. Most of the basketball season, it's cold. It's not a big market. People talk about that the party scene is not the nightlife is not like it is in other places. That's what most people say. I've never been there, so everybody from Indiana is gonna go crazy at me. He's like, "Hey, come here, stop." You have to understand what I'm trying to say. It's not L.A., it's not New York, it's not Chicago, and it's not Texas, according to most people. Now, and at the same time, they've never had, I just realized this, the number one pick even on their team passing by. They almost got DeAndre Ayton a couple of years ago, but let's say like LeBron is on the Lakers now. So the Lakers have a number one pick of the draft on their team. Now they had Magic back in the day, but you get the point there, James. Where you get the point. What I'm trying to say here is that like LeBron James was on the Miami Heat, so the Miami Heat had a number one pick of the draft on their team. Then you look at Greg Oden, right? Greg Oden, Kwame Brown was on the Charlotte Bobcats, so they had a guy passing through on their own team as the number one pick. The Indiana Pacers never had the number one pick on their team, a number one pick on their roster for like a year or so. Not even that. And they, throughout my lifetime, obviously there might have been a year or two where they were not good. They've always been a competitive team, not making crazy noise, and nobody watches them. I'll just tell you the truth. Like, they're not on national TV all the time like they were, I believe, in 2013. No, especially 2012. They didn't even have a national game in the 66 game season, and I don't think they have a national game the next year as well. When they took Miami to 6 games the year before, then they took Miami to 7 games, and then they were in the conference finals 2 years in a row and they lost to Miami. They draft like the 12th guy, Paul George, 13th. I don't know which pick with Paul George. Then you have Reggie Miller before that, and then even after Reggie Miller, they were still a solid team with like Jermaine O'Neal and then all those guys. They've always somehow been irrelevant. They've been a relevant basketball team. And then after Paul George trade, people are like, they got nothing. They get Sabonis in the trade, which played well for them. Then and they also got Victor Oladipo that became an all-star from them. They always stay relevant. Now they have this new GM from whether their GM is now Chad Buchanan. Before that, the guy ran the team was Larry Bird, and then Donnie Walsh. They switch off back and forth with head coaches Rick Carlisle again twice, Nick McMillan. You had Larry Bird. All these guys that coach them somehow they're Frank Vogel, they've always been like a relevant team. Nothing like spectacular all the time. And people just say like, they've always been this gritty team that has always find a way to get it done. They're the best organization because they don't do it. They can't do it the way to say we're the Lakers, we're in LA, show up, we're here. They can't do that. They never win the freaking lottery, which is interesting to me. But I'm not gonna get into that because Dallas somehow wins the lottery after this Nico situation with Luka Doncic. But whatever, that's for another day. But they never, the NBA doesn't give them the number one pick. They never do, even when they're bad. And somehow, some way, they compete. They compete hard, and they could win the championship because shout out to Adam Silver, which I've been praising him like the past month. I don't know what happened. I've made peace with the guy because I didn't like the guy for years. Check out my first video. I really didn't like the guy. He's winning me over with everything, with all the situation. Well, how's he winning me over? He's winning me over because Indiana, I wouldn't be surprised if anything happens right now. Indiana goes 8-0 the next 8 games, or they go 0-4 against most likely the Knicks, or they go 4-4. I wouldn't be surprised if anything happens with Indiana, New York, and Oakley, KC, and Minnesota probably going to make the next round if Steph doesn't play. And then I wouldn't be surprised if anybody just goes 8-0 or anybody just blows it like it's tight games and everything goes 7 the rest of the way. Very good job by Adam Silver. And I just want to give a shout out to a guy, to the new coach of the and also the owner of the Pacers, Herbert Simon. His name is Herb Simon. I get it, he's much older now. I don't know if he runs the team, or has a day-to-day, but he's been a consistent franchise, and nobody talks about Herb Simon. Everybody's like, the Busses, the Dolans, the Steve Ballmers of the world because he's loud. But that's what everyone talks about. They talk about the big owners. Even Nicky Harrison, people talk about Pat Riley. They don't really talk about Nicky, but everyone knows. A random basketball fan knows Nicky Harrison. Is it Nicky or Mickey? I think it's Mickey. The Nuggets coach, the interim coach, David Adelman, who for some reason, I don't know why he's the head coach because of that stupid firing that I didn't do a video on. Because Mike Malone, the greatest coach in the history of the franchise, and only wins 50 games a year, and the unappreciative people of the stars of the league just to fire these guys. They're being pampered, so they need to fire the GM. And by the way, the GM somehow done a great job. You could have this. I know they play this racist game, aka Draymond Green, play these race games. You had a GM like that could have showed, hey, you could grow up and be what you want and work hard and be the best GM in the league and somehow take this late second round pick and make him the best player in the game and surround them with great talent and great team and win a championship as a GM like that and be a legit GM. But everybody fires that guy. They fire that guy and everyone goes, yeah, because it makes sense. It's like, and they just move on with Mike Malone. This guy, but I'll give this guy, David Adelman has been with the team for years. David Adelman, I have to give a shout out, even though they lost, when he says about fatigue and guys were fatigued when he plays too many minutes and Jokic and all those guys, he says, that's my fault. See, JJ Redick, I'm calling you out for that. You say, I don't go to my assistants, this and that. And you play this game of deflecting of you're questioning my call because of this or that. No, this guy said it's my fault. If fatigue is my fault. I'll give him credit for that, and I'll give him a shout out. Obviously, they lost the game, so I'm not going to say he deserves to be the coach of the team next year or not. I'm not going there. But you know what? At least publicly, this guy's saying, yeah, it's on me. The fatigue is on me. This is ridiculous. Coaches, anybody in sports, it's like, yeah, you win, lose. You get the credit, you get the blame when you lost. You get the credit when you win. You have to understand this. This is sports, okay? So when you lose a game and there's a questionable if the guys were fatigued or not, yeah, take it on the chin and say, yeah. After you win the game, it's like he was a warrior and and this and that. And then when they lose the game and you play all these crazy minutes to these guys, you say, yeah, that's on me. I should have given the guy a rest and stuff like that. And it's on me. and just blame yourself when things go wrong. And that's what we like. That's what we want to hear. Obviously, David Adelman. I don't know. He's probably not going to be the coach next year. But at least that JJ Redick, got to learn from that guy. Sorry. Thank you. Have a great day. Subscribe to my YouTube channel, AFree26, and follow me on X, AFree26, and also follow me on Rumble, AFree26.